different. But as bad as or as good as is exactly the same thing. It's abstract. You can take it for good or you can take it for bad.
How was I supposed to take it?
That's a classic philosophical twist.
My phone woke up.
Impact. Reframing the neutral abstract into a positive or negative is entirely up to perspective.
Yeah, okay.
Thank
But
you.
how was I supposed to take it? Welcome, audience, to episode
How
35.
the hell does this happen to my phone?
I don't know. It's listening, bro. They're always listening. That's the thing.
It's
But I'm
Gemini.
still not convinced, even by your telling me to take it differently, that I shouldn't have kept my other shirt on. I had on my gray T-shirt, and then I just was like, I'm gonna put on this one because it was wadded up on the front of the car dash from where I'd gone down to the creek today, and I was like, why did I put on a clean shirt? I had this shirt that was still clean. And so I took the other one off and put it back in its hanger so it'd be there for tomorrow. Life of only having like 3 T-shirts you wear, And so I put this one back on, but now I'm like, no, man, this is not the shirt. Isn't it funny how we do that, though? And so Ricardo was saying to me, no, don't worry. It looks just as bad as any of the others. And I was like, thanks, I know. And that was what he was explaining. I went ahead and pressed live. I didn't tell him. I was just like, we're already late. And nobody's waiting. So let me see your Rumble.
You have chat already, but did you post it on X so I can share it?
Oh, no, but I'm live on X, so you can go share the live event.
Oh, okay.
I usually don't post on X because I'm streaming on X, and I don't want to be like all, Hey, chat's working today. Hi, Sarah. What's up? Gay. Typo. Welcome to real life. Say hey. Do you want to join the bit? You're more help.
Dear Lord.
You might as well get her a microphone, man.
Nah, better not. Okay, X, you are live, you say.
Yeah, so you can share it out. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. I didn't mean to say gay. That was a typo. I was just trying to say hey. It's not Portuguese. Trying to hey, That's gay. There we go, Sarah. How was your day? I see you're ready for school Monday. It's crazy. I've got the kids here have one more week, so it means they head back to their mothers after this weekend because under the current system that's supposed to happen. However, it's still shocking. It seems like when we were young. What's up, Matt? Scribed, Thoth, the Atlantean, as always over there on X. Go follow. Thanks, bro. How was your Thursday? Yeah, as how quickly summer seems to go by. I know it's when I think of it that way. It's also a study, I guess, in time and relativity. And me knowing it's probably just because of my perception skew when I was young. But man, it seemed a lot longer than it does now. This time between school ending and school starting.
You're kind of scaring me. Did I miss a month? Because we are still entering August.
Yeah, that's what happens over in here. We do it first of August.
The school starts at 1st of August?
I know, dude. They totally steal your children for pretty much the whole year. It's like insane.
How does that work? It's on like the 14th of September
or
something.
It's very
like
chill.
That.
Thank you, Thoth. Scribed, Matt, whatever we're calling you today, CIA. Well, I'm sure in we probably get out sooner than you do. I would reckon.
No, it ends on the beginning of July, June.
Beginning of June, yeah. End of May, beginning of June.
Because we used to have 3 months. Because I remember, because I spent 3 months.
For sure,
out.
for sure.
And then I think now it's 2.5 or 2.25 or something.
Yeah, it's like it's being whittled
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, well, who wants to be with their children? Seriously. And bear the
Yeah,
creatures.
I mean, just those of us fighting against, good Lord, corruption like the likes of which novels have yet to touch upon, those of us that have been in those positions and stripped of time with our children thanks to said things, we take very much notice of when the state comes in and says, hey, it's time for us to take them and tell them a bunch of lies. What'd you do today? We sat in our box. What'd you do in your box? We learned some lies. Excellent. Productive day. It was so funny. I was driving. This is actually kind of on point. I was driving to Montgomery, and I don't go to Montgomery a lot. It's sort of the larger city, in the area, right? It's where I was born, where I grew up, right? I'm driving south into town, and there is this massive complex, right? And I mean, like, huge, so big the walls look too thin for it. You know what I'm saying? Like 3 stories, and dude, fucking 40 yards, 50 yards worth of like building, and then like a little causeway, and then another grand building, and all you see is like a door, and then a bunch of windows, right? And in my mind, all I can see something, especially in this part of the world, this much money being spent on, because it's where you can kind of see it being spent around, is on a jail, right? So I look closer as I go by, and I see all the sort of sub-buildings, sparsed out behind it, and my mind's able to see, yeah, that's going to be a prison for sure, right? And I'm going to help my mother and a friend of hers that has gotten too old to maintain her house, right? So I was going to help with stuff at the house. So anyhow, we're leaving, and my own mother had locked herself out of her car. And so I had to give her a ride home while we fetched some keys, right? And she knew what that building was. She informed me as we were heading home. And she was like, oh, have you seen the new school? I was like, the new what? And instantly, because I experienced it, as only you could in my head, I saw what I was certain was a prison, only to learn it was indeed the new school. And that goes with, the comparison we all often make who went up in public school and see the similarities that it's a lot like prison, right? So that was just a visceral sort of, oh my gosh, it's true. Like I was examining it, trying to figure out what was this big thing, and that's what my mind and all its examining fell upon was this is definitely gonna be a prison, a justice center as they call it, but instead it's the learning center, bullshit center. That's what we'll call it. Welcome. What's up, Jay Quills? If school don't hate to see you coming through the doors, you got work to do. There you go. That's one attitude to have towards it. It has been a very chill Thursday. Thank you, sir. Yeah, same. All right, so we don't really have a topic for tonight. I've got a couple of things, that we can obviously sort of dive down or expound upon. But I would say where we start is, well, first of all, while we're doing it without a set topic, but a loosely defined agenda in my head, is because we said we would, right? And one thing, though we might be green in it all, we know for sure about this whole podcasting game is that you must have the, what's your word for it, Ricardo? Regularity, right? So like going to the bathroom.
Consistency.
Consistency is a much better word than regularity. Some consistency about it. So
you are Americano, so you are excused, right? So.
Well, no, I'm regular too, but I'll be consistent as well if that's what we're we're looking for. I can be consistently inconsistent with the best of them.
But I sent you the 4000 BC in case you want to look at it.
As a piece, yes. I'm gonna rattle on for a second because
No worries. I'm just saying that you might not have seen it. Obviously, you didn't. But since
No.
we talked about it yesterday, I
No.
sent it to your email.
I stopped and I listened to an audiobook that I'd been needing to listen to for a while, and today while I was out taking Jacob and doing some exploration at the creek, and that's one of the few things, and I'm still way behind on the media that I need to catch up on. There's no doubt about that. But it's been a very it's kind of I guess what I was going to rattle on about for a second while we get warmed up here. It's been a very it's not reflectory period of reflection, and not precisely because it's been very active as all of us know, but perhaps I guess the analogy that sort of comes to mind, and why is it always agricultural? What the fuck is that about? But when you planted seeds, right? Like, you know what I mean by that, Ricardo. You're a big seed planter. You fucking planting like Johnny Appleseed, out here in this 3-dimensional realm, right? And
He's saying this in the sense of the other gentleman was, not that I'm comparing, but like the other gentleman was a fisher of man. So
Yeah.
that is in that sense, because I'm not a grower of anything that it's.
No, that's not
But
where I'm
that-
going. No, I'm going to the exact opposite. Actually, I'm going to follow this agricultural thing through here, because you are a planter of seeds, right? In that analogy, I don't have to take it any more than that because everybody should understand what I mean by that. Seeds of intention, seeds of action, seeds of faith, seeds of belief, seeds of whatever your thing is, right? Right. Well, Ricardo does a fucking lot.
As one does. Yes.
And I just broke my nicotine pouch.
You broke it.
I did, because I was, I'm so used to, like, it probably goes back to the cigarette days, where you could kind of finger it for a minute before you, put it in your mouth and lit it, And so while you're sitting here just sort of pontificating or whatever the fuck the word would be there, you can twiddle it.
Pontificating. It's
I know.
beautiful.
It's making
That's
fun of the
beautiful.
Pope, right? That's what I was did it work? Okay.
I don't have a fish in my head, but I can do it too.
Right? Exactly. I don't have the, whatever the hell, the elongated skull
No,
representation
it's
going on there.
a symbol for Nimrod, which makes no sense.
I don't
in
care. You don't need to
Christianity.
get us off point because I'll try to finish what I was saying. Even though
Go
I'm
ahead.
disappointed that No, you can even take us down the silly hat wearing, what it symbolizes. But I guarantee you that whatever they told us it symbolizes isn't what it symbolizes. But that was one of my notes. I'm sorry, note. And it was one of the ginger peach, which is actually one of my favorites. And I just busted one. But, yeah.
But what will you do with that? I still don't get it. Oh, you put it in your mouth?
Mm-hmm.
So it's gum.
Upper lip. No, it's a pouch made of oat fibers, and it's kind of like got a little, think almost like flexible cheesecloth, sort of around this sort of ground up oats, which should then have been inculcated or absorbed a nicotine solution with some sort of natural flavor, claims note. And they're very distinct flavors like spicy lime and ginger peach. Spicy lime's fucking good, dude. It's like really good. And they've got a long line of mints like everyone else. And a mint is a mint is a mint, though I do like their peppermint pretty solid. But yeah, I busted a ginger peach. Anyhow, got us totally off topic. So back to the agricultural, busted like a seed when it begins to sprout underneath the soil from which it has metaphorically been planted. Well, it seems to me that this is a time where many seeds, the harvest indeed will be coming in on many things. And when in that condition, it is best to instead of constantly busying oneself with sowing yet another crop, it's best to make sure you're in a position to handle the crop that's coming in, right? So that then being, the personal sort of state I've vibed and felt, it's been a much more not reflexive but active. You would know it, Ricardo, as we were talking about yesterday, about those of us who every choice and the weight of it and weight of we feel of it, right? Well, when you're living life as that, right? Then when there's a constant inward working, right? It's a working. There are actually parts of you which can be brought forth and acknowledged and moved and let go of, and excited by circumstance, right? There's just an inner life that is quite real, right? and much like you can work on a car, you can work on anything in the material world, you can then work on your own internal, yourself, your soul, your, all those things. I mean, not even one word really works for the complexity of, what's a biblical phrase would be, in my father's house there are many mansions, it's like, right? That inner landscape. So I've been very busy there, actually, the past bit. Outside of this constant sort of daily has been in the podcasting game, really, on one of our many platforms, or being asked by Dave to go over there and interview on his platform various people. But other than that, it's been attuning to, of course, family, and then just that quite real inner work that is constantly in motion. Change is the only constant, right? And if you're going to keep up with that, then that includes yourself as well, and constantly under reevaluation. Oh, shit, that needs to go, or that we need to dig down there. That fuck, we needed that. Shouldn't have thrown that away. And getting yourself adjusted for the trip ahead, right? That'd be one way to say the lack of new sort of attempts at creative output, or probably why I haven't felt the impulse to tackle such topics. That, and of course, I've already covered much of it thoroughly, not only in other places, but here. So it's sort of like this onward and upward, which I'm sure at some point will find an appropriate way to work itself back in. But now it's just been busy with figuring out the varying levels of this whole podcasting tool, and all the things we can do with it. You've got an idea that I know we don't want to talk about, but, from all the way from that level of sort of creative, possibilities that one can play with this, to all the various ways that one can get messages and ideas and one's work across is, there's a lot of potential here. Anyhow, as my lights twinkle, that's my hello, what I've been up to. How are you, man? Welcome to Finding Things Within and Without.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Your without has changed. How's your within doing?
Well, this is trying his best to be as good as possible.
Okay.
But today was the day that I woke up with one of my migraines. And as usual, every time something happens and one decides to take another hour of sleep, when I woke up I had a dozen emails and messages and lots of urgent things to do, and so I stopped like not even an hour ago. So it's been a very busy day.
I'm very grateful, right? Like, I don't quite know how to empathize, how to properly, like, try to empathize, other than to say I don't know how well I do, because things with my head I'm very sensitive to. Like, when I get a normal, headache, which to me feels strong and terrible, right? It kind of, I suck at putting my consciousness anywhere else. You know what I mean? It really just kind of takes over. I'm kind of a wimp with, like, head injury or head aches, I have a back that probably honestly should be probably limiting and debilitating, but it's attached to me, and I'm very stubborn, and so instead I just deal with pain, which is like whatever, once that becomes a lot of us know what I mean there, something you got to walk with, it's whatever, it's reality, right? And at a certain level, almost probably like those dogs, in that experiment, right? Where there were dogs that experienced low-level shocks from the ground, right? Okay. And then there were dogs that went through roughly the same thing, except there was a lever that could make it stop, right? And so the ones that were exposed to being able to learn the lever was there. And then there were the other ones who essentially learn to deal with it, right? Like they would lay down. So then they're both put in the same pen that's very easy to escape from, and group A fucking lays down and just deals with the floor shocking because that's what they had learned to do. And the ones who had been trained on the lever easily got the hell out of there after the first, shock or two. That one.
Well, in your case, it's also extremely educative to all of us, because it teaches that we should learn and read the instructions before attempting things. The fact that you forgot to read the part with saying to bungee jumping you need to use an elastic cord did come out with some injuries in your back. So
No, my back is, it's just the way I was born, right? It could have been seen to when I was young, but it wasn't. It was diagnosed when I was young, but it wasn't seen to. Nothing I could do about that, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't in my hands. But now I'm old, and it just is.
I don't know what that means, but I will agree with you.
It's okay. You don't have to. I don't think we were going anywhere specific. Mostly just hanging out.
Old, I don't know. Here. Experienced, yes.
It's the migraine. The migraine is kind of where I was going. Was I don't. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that. I think it would steal the whole day from me, not just what you claim an hour or two.
Well, I think if they're correct, migraines are hereditary. And they come from the mother side, so it's something I have to thank to my mother, because she has them, and even much stronger. Well, my mother lives with chronic pain, so she has a osteoporosis and a very damaged spine, and migraines and pain on the whole body is a constant for her. So I consider myself very lucky. It's just an occasional migraine here and there.
You and Sarah both struggle with those.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
She has more often than I, which isn't good.
No, it's not. And hopefully there are some remedies, some plant medicines perhaps that can, at least I've seen there in studies, that can assist with that. You know what I totally forgot to do and all that? I forgot to go over to Rumble.
That's one of the things I always find interesting about Neanderthals and some Cro-Magnon. That is, they went all the work to develop a drill
Yeah.
to make a hole in the brain, but they never thought of creating a pill to take care of the headache. So it's an interesting take.
You think they would have?
No, I'm joking, but when you go to the extreme of doing brain surgery, it's get it out, just drill it in.
Well, I think the mass, what do we want to call it? The mass idea of pharmakia as we currently know it is probably a very new phenomenon. The idea that there is something you can ingest that will fix anything that ails you is perhaps, I would think modern, right?
No.
The way it's so pervasive. I know there was always a healing niche. There was always the healer. There were always, herbs. There were always, of course, natural remedies, which we know to be real. But I don't think humans walked around with this idea that whatever is wrong, there's something I can find to put in my mouth to fix it, right?
Well, think of what is his name? Otzi. You remember Otzi?
Yeah, with his axe.
What he?
His axe.
Oh, his axe.
Oxy's
With
axe.
the axe. With his axe. What is his axe? With his
Bronze, his copper axe.
Otzi had a very good pharmacy on his pouch
Yeah.
for many different types of ailments. And if you go to 1000 BC, you find a guy in China that is considered to be one of the fathers of pharmacy that tested on himself more than 10,000 herbs. And when you start mixing things and grind them and prepare them and extracting oils and so on, one thing is to pick up something directly from nature and take this, it will help you, right? Like another thing is starting to prepare things, combine herbs, grind them or dilute them, and I think that can also already be considered to be a form of advanced medicine. They didn't have pills, but
Right. I guess that's not.
you see,
I'm
I
not
think you're thinking
wording-
about more like Middle Ages, that everything could be done by a sangria or lychees, where things got very, very limited.
No, I mean the fact that, all right, if I walk into any room right now in this country where a television is on, right, in between whatever program that is, there are going to be a myriad of different commercials advertising pills. And those pills are advertised to certainly fix or cure a myriad of things, both physical, psychological, and indeed ineffable, right? Such as sadness, and depression. And they've even got pills now that they advertise for you to take as add-ons with the other pills, especially when you're on these ineffable categories, right? But they've got a pill for pretty much everything that we could ascribe to the human body. And many, many people believe that that is a reality, right? When in fact, I guess what's bothering me is the fact that that has now become not only a financial, what do you want to call it? It's turned it into a market, but then it's turned the people's false belief in that, and indeed the people's real need for healing, into the grease that lubes the wheels on that sort of perpetual money machine, so much so that the culture itself, that children walking the earth before they quite know what's what, expect to be taken to the doctor to find out what pill to take for whatever the fuck is bothering them. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think that changed because you wouldn't take a TK or schedule a day with a shaman to look at what you have and what you can take, right?
Right. That's the thing, I guess.
But probably because there was less people. Because if you go to any city from Mesopotamia to Egypt to China, you'll find several supposed doctors that would prepare. Most of them would be like witch doctors today, right? 99% of them are completely fake and dangerous. But
well, that's like what the medicine is that they're selling us, dude. I'm serious. It's fake and dangerous, right? They have so many side effects that I'm not even like making an attempt at a joke here, that 40 to 60% of what's spoken in that commercial, and I'd wager to say 70 of the spoken words in any visualized commercial on television for a drug, is in fact a list of all recorded and known side effects.
at least part of them, because if you open any package of medicine that has that. I don't know if you in America, in Europe, it comes with what we call a bula, which is a paper in small print saying what it is, how to take it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so 90% of those papers are description of side effects. So that's why people don't read them.
Right.
Because if you read them, you don't take the medicine
Well, exactly.
because you are afraid of doing it.
I mean, we call these, like, you use the word
Literally.
snake oil or whatever, but can you imagine if some, guy is standing on the side of the road with his little bottle that he's got to sell, and what he in fact has to tell you is that you could lose both eyes or die, right? Okay, if you take this. Or if in fact he did that, that happened to a customer, right, in a small community, right? The customer would very quickly be alerting everyone to the fact that your eyeballs fall out and your wife dies when you ingest this stuff,
Yeah,
right?
but see
It
the
wouldn't
bright
work.
side.
But still today, Ricardo, that happens. Okay, that happens. They bring a chemical to they even pass it through testing, bro. After it like kills a bunch of people and doesn't do what it's supposed to do and causes the opposite thing, they still get it approved and they still push it on you. Why? Money. Yes, I know it's a rhetorical question, but it's created this culture that calls it medicine now. They call medicine this poison that they're giving to us to make us more sick so that we need more of the medicine so they can take more of our money. And I don't even have a word for what the fuck that is. It's not a system. It's
Yeah, but you have also to
hell.
consider that human longevity has been
A booster
greatly-
for your booster, right? Sorry,
has
go
been
ahead.
has been clearly improved by the advance in medicine. Most of it is marketing and profit,
Yeah.
but some of the products have bettered the lives of thousands, if not millions, of people.
Well, certainly.
Like
No
surgery
one's-
improved.
Again, we're
So-
talking specifically about the pharmacological
Yeah, the
aspect of
periphery,
it
the
here.
periphery of medicine is
It
extremely
became just a
dangerous.
rough business, is what it did.
It is.
The Rockefellers and the whole taking the we got extra bits of oil.
It's
What can we
much
do with
better
all of
than
it? Let's
selling-
make some petrochemical medicine, why don't we? And make all the doctors sell it. Yay!
Yeah, we offer them
Corn
bottles
syrup.
and
Yay!
modified, genetically modified corn syrup.
Yay! I know. Like not even real. We fucked it up and ground it up, and
Yeah.
here, yum.
How is it that a product? Let's take for a kind of a soda. I think that's how you call it. They call it light, and to call it light, they use what is called aspartame.
Aspartame. Yeah.
Yeah, aspartame, and another thing that I can't remember the name right now. So aspartame.
Stevia.
No, stevia is natural, but aspartame is a chemical product used on rat poisoning. Because it's poisonous, but it's sweet. And so they are using that as a substitute for sugar. And yet, somehow, the product that uses the chemical component that is easily made instead of the sugar that has to be harvested and transported is cheaper.
Yeah.
And-
Isn't it? Yeah.
And then you have chocolates and
They
gums.
could, and if they'd have been using, instead of using the modified sugar, right, the processed, if they'd have just been ripping open some canes and using some real sugar, or better yet, honey,
Yeah, but
the whole time, you would have never even invented this health crisis that then required you to use a rat poison to taste like the modified sugar you'd gotten everybody addicted to.
the problem is Europe didn't know what sugar was until or already been a forgotten product, because when the discovery age happened in the 16th century, 1500s, one of the great commodities that they were trying to obtain was sugar. So sugar entered and people were completely addicted. That's the beginning of diabetes, because people were completely addicted to sugar. And they didn't know it caused any harm. So they switched from honey to sugar. But honey was only placed in some things because honey is more precious than sugar, and so less people have access, especially in the cities. and sugar was very expensive, but was lots of it to people to buy, and people bought it. It made fortunes selling sugar in Europe because people didn't know what it was. So imagine somebody taste for the first time something sweetened by sugar, right? They went mad. Even imagine the pastry is all done with a little bit of honey, and all of a sudden you can put a kilo of sugar, 2 pounds of sugar in to make a cake, right? People went crazy.
Yep.
So, and if you go and check, and I did this probably 20 years ago, on the cinemas they sell beverages like Coca-Cola, 7-Up, and so on. The big cup has 80 or something like 76 to 80 package of sugar that they give you with a coffee, with the espresso, not with the American coffee, but the espresso, right? So it is if the thing is like this of liquid, and this is the amount of sugar in it.
Uh-huh. And I grew up drinking them like they were going out of style through sugared straws. You know, Twizzlers, man.
Sugared straws? Are you serious?
You know the candy Twizzlers. Have you ever seen that? It's this candy. It's like red licorice, right? And it's like a long tube they snip at both ends when they cut it. So you don't really know it's a tube until you bite into it and you go, hey, that was hollow, because that's how they extrude it, right? Well, that then therefore becomes like a cherry flavored straw essentially for your Coca-Cola, or better, your cherry Coke through that cherry licorice straw. And then, man, you got free refills, you know, and you'd make your popcorn like extra salty. So it made the cherry Coke through the Twizzler
with
extra tasty.
Processed salt and
Oh yeah,
salt.
yeah.
Yes.
And then you just eat the whole bag of that, and you know, go through 3 or 4 of those, you know, sodas, and that was a productive, fun Friday night, man. And that doesn't account for what then happened afterwards. You know, at somebody's house or at your house, up all night playing video games, and the sodas that were consumed, and the processed chips that were thrown back with salsa in a jar from processed tomatoes, you know.
Humans are very resilient.
Man, don't you know it?
I will call it divine almost.
Damn near, bro.
Because you do that to an animal and you kill it in a few
sure
hours.
is. I know, dude. But now it's so bad now that I'm all the time like looking, you know, like people are always getting on me like, all you eat is, you know. And I'm like, look, I know where that comes from. I know where that comes from. Okay, let me the fuck alone. Right? Like every other option. But then I have to like remember like that childhood, you know. And then you go, it doesn't matter, you know. Just say a prayer, and apparently the poison fucks off. So you know, just I'm hungry.
After that, even a honeybud would look at you and said, "No, fuck that, man."
It's crazy how bad it is when you try to go, look, I'm gonna like not deal with processed foods, right? Okay, it's crazy how fucking hard that is, right? Like you will find yourself hungry many times unless you go prepared ahead of time to not, you know, have to deal with processed foods, right? Like it's everywhere. It's fast food. It's everything.
How much work it is to not eat processed food. You have to make your own bread, because I'm from Portugal. We eat bread. We have to make your own bread, right? Then you have to raise your own cows and your own pigs.
That's
and
what
your
I'm
own
saying.
chickens.
I let the cow and the chicken do it. I find local chickens and local beef, and then that's it. That's what I eat. Throw in some ice cream, and you know, I know that's a gamble, but you know, you gotta.
Did you make the ice cream at home?
I didn't.
No.
I know it's a gamble. But that goes back to whole, you know, as you say, it's miraculous what these human bodies can go through, and all of this, even on top of the years of heavy drinking, right, and heavy smoking cigarettes, you know. I mean, I know I was there, and I got that experience
You
as
watched
well.
it all. You watched it all.
I was there, dude. I was not a blacker outer. You know, There was one very rare occasion where I might find myself in a situation where I couldn't much do anything about where I was or what was going to happen, and that was rare, but it did happen. Um, anyhow, you threw me with thinking about trips to jail for drinking.
Why
There was this
alcohol?
one.
Why is it alcohol? To me, and people will think that I'm wrong, but to me, alcohol is the worst of all drugs.
Yeah, well, it is.
One of the reasons why it's because it's legal.
Well, it's pushed and it's sanctioned by society, and by the elite, those that sanction things in society, for a reason,
And I don't know why drunk people from the Americas don't move to Portugal, because I've seen how much liquor costs here, or even a bottle of wine. They are insane. Insane. In Portugal, they would be drunk with a tenth of the money. So if you're a
The
drunkard,
taxes and
move
all
to
that
Portugal.
shit are crazy.
It's
here.
incredible. $18 for a bottle of wine? Are you insane? For that, I'll buy a reserve for 2003 or something like that. It has to be a very special wine to cost $18.
Yeah, 20 bucks for a bottle of whiskey, yeah, or wine.
Yeah.
I don't know, $20 wines. That's probably supposed to be anyway, right? Here,
No,
I guess you're telling me in Portugal it's
in
not.
Portugal you can buy
It's been
a
a long time for me.
reasonable good bottle of wine for $3.75.
Oh.
Reasonably good, right? Of course, you can go all the way to 25, 40 if you go to really special wines. Right?
Now that you've left Portugal again, you're encouraging all the alcoholics to move there.
To
I
move
see.
there,
You've
yes.
got a plan. You will
Yes.
take over the ashes then.
I hope
After the alcoholics go and ruin it, But yeah, there's a reason that shit is sanctioned, and I mean it's spirit, right? They call them spirits.
You
for
can
a
smoke
reason.
herb in Portugal, but you can drink to your heart content as long as you don't touch the car, right? And they encourage you to go out at night, even
Most
put the car
Western
to take you,
societies, yeah.
to drink to your heart's content, because Monday you are going back to work. Yes, my dear
Right, that's it.
slave.
It's a number.
Enjoy your Friday and Saturday, because Monday you're going back into the track.
Yes. Same as any other society when you look back on it. The rulers knew, man. Make sure they got something in their belly. Make sure they got booze on their off time. And make sure they got something to watch so they don't get to thinking. That's pretty much it. And you put it all together and you've got an easy way to keep people in line and where you want them.
Yeah, but for that you have, in Europe, football. In here you have different things, but
Yeah.
you have to
Football.
have you need to have a circus and a coliseum, and because
Right.
you can't put people to kill themselves, or at least they haven't managed to make that legal yet.
It is, though. Sorry, I got to talking
I
there.
drank so much orange soda and Mountain Dew as a kid. It's kind of scary.
Cannabis contains more than 500 distinct chemical substances. Rat poison contains 11. It is funny. It is. And of course, this whole, not, I guess, discovered until, when was it, the 80s? I forget now. The endocannabinoid system, this whole
Yeah.
thing that's activated by that.
It's as big as your nervous
500
system.
Yeah, it is, and then 500 distinct chemicals. It's like you've got some sort of interdimensional surgery happening, intertime, like surgical procedures going on there. It's pretty crazy
Yeah,
when you try to picture it.
I think that this theory that is called the stone ape, for the evolution from ape to
Ape
man.
ate a mushroom or whatever.
Yeah. It's it again, as we've been finding. It has some truth in it.
Well, in it, right. The actual representation is not worth
Because
anything.
if you smoke a joint before you go hunting, your angle of your field of view will increase by 12 to 24 degrees, for instance. So you're a better hunter,
Huh.
right? So those that smoke probably were more successful at hunting because they shake less when they are aiming. They have a bigger field of view. They're more sensitive to auditory, olfactory. Right? I'm not saying smoke until you fall to the side. I'm just saying put enough in your system to activate this effect. Right? So you are a better hunter. So therefore, you think clearer. You're calmer. So all of these are benefits that groups like hunters, right, specific categories within the tribes, hunters would benefit from, right?
Right. And it for much of our human history, guys, it was, I guess, passively would be one way to say it, in the food system, right? And what I mean by that is think of agricultural hemp, right? And in how many agricultural societies, hemp was produced for paper, for rope, for everything, right? Okay, so what do you do within the byproducts of that process? You fed it to your farm animals, right? You fed it to the beasts that were being converted into the food and consumed by the human. So the human was, in fact, having the endocannabinoid system always working and being seen to by simply the way the culture was operating, and that is up until very recently. That's why all our founding fathers, they were all harvesting, hemp it's just been part of agricultural society, right? And so therefore that part of us was seen to, it's not until very recently where all of that became very governmentally regulated as a no-no, that of course at the same time that all these other horrors we're talking about, like sugar and corn syrup and all these other things we've been expounding upon, at the same time they're removing that from our diet. I mean, it was just there, it all seems quite manufactured when you start to look at it like this, dude.
I need
blow your nose, please, and click mute. But doesn't it, guys? It seems you start to go ahead.
So what I was going to say is, I don't think Americans actually realize how much of the American civilization
that they're living inside an experiment.
No, was brought up by hemp. Because even the jeans, Levi's, were made of hemp.
Levi's
were made of hemp. Ropes, clothes, everything that they use in their daily lives were dependent on everybody have a plantation of hemp.
Yeah.
Right? So even the Far West was brought up by hemp. Now go to Europe and even in the Americas, but until the end of the 1900s, you enter a pharmacy and 70 to 90% of the products are hemp derived.
Right.
All kinds of products have active or non-active or CBD or THC elements in it.
Right.
And the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, everything that was related to sailing, gigantic ships, small ships, all the ropes, the sails were all made of hemp because they are more resistant. Because hemp is far superior to the materials that they use in replacement of, in substitution of hemp. Right. So it also, I can't remember the name, if it was Mr. Dupont or if it was, what's the name of the other guy?
I don't even know what time period you're talking about.
When they cut hemp off and started using chemicals. I don't know if his name was
one
Dupont.
of the Rockefellers or
No,
DuPont was probably involved somehow for sure.
It's the other guy that has a name like this that I just remembered, but now I can say it. One is Dupont and the other is, I can't remember. Oh, it doesn't matter. One of these two guys made a deal because he just have patented a way to use byproducts of oil by creating the first plasticware for kitchens. Everything that was hemp, he was replacing. He had a system to replace it by plastic or oil derived products, right?
Right.
And so the government started doing this immense campaign, like he smoke a joint and kill his mother, and I'm not kidding. There was actually advertisements like this in magazines and television,
Yeah, I've seen
and so that's how they changed mentality. That's exactly what we're talking about. Like the Odysseus movie, to us is an aberration, but in 3 or 4 generations, it's no longer an
the
aberration.
propaganda settles in.
It is what to us isn't now.
Right.
So they changed society completely in a fraction of 2 generations. Hemp ceased to be a priority to have, to be the devil himself.
Right. And it's in the motivations behind it. It's like when you start investigating that, I guess most people will fall short of the financial motivations or stop right about there, meaning, okay, so these guys had gotten a byproduct of the oil that one of them was involved with making a lot of money from, and it's like, well, look, we can do all kinds of shit with this, so let's do that instead of hemp. But at the same time, then, that means you've got the guys in the medical field, because as you pointed out, for hundreds of years, everything medicine-wise was like, somehow derived from this.
Yeah.
But somebody starts to go, hey, we can't make money on that, so we got to do something about that.
It's not that you can't make money, is you can't patent it.
You can't, right. I mean, you can't.
You can't be the only one to sell that.
They want to make money, right? You can't make money the way
like
you want
aspirin is mine. Nobody else can sell aspirin.
Right. And if I want to have a garden out back of those plants, then I could, if it's all right. You wouldn't have the market that is now pharmacia or the pharmaceutical industry. Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you. He's going for 4. You wouldn't have it as we now understand it. I mean, I think that's what they were doing. They knew they were establishing what we now live under. Screwdriver makes rope still. Thanks for joining, dude. And yeah. The amount of dispensaries. Yeah, what's happening with the rest of the plant? It's a good question. Very good question. But it seems that the thread I was there on was, so were all of these just not innocuous, but like unrelated sort of decisions, because in the grand scheme of things, they don't seem unrelated at all, and they all seem aimed at the degradation of standardized human experience. Right?
While it looks like progress.
Yeah.
To the illiterate, but
when you're getting into these people, making these decisions about, we got to switch markets here. I'm going to introduce this stuff as medicine. That means we got to wipe out everybody from the hemp grower to the jazz musician smoking, whatever. We got to make it all go away. And so you get legislation and yada yada, and then in a decade, it's done. And then here we sit today thinking that's just the way it is and the way it was and the way it'll always be, not realizing that a major part of our operating systems as human beings was essentially stolen from us. And you can't really sell me on the notion that they didn't know that.
Of course they did.
Because like you say, there's medicine everywhere derived from it, so they've known the whole time. So that's where I'm going. Is this all seems very
when
Kabbalistic, like a cabal? It's it makes you think of those things, of decisions made to weaken the human race in mass, like in every way.
Yeah, if you've seen the movie about Fred and Germain from Powers Bluff, you see that they got a proper shaman to go there, and he was amazed because he usually has to walk even states to find the necessary plants to have for a large group of healing types, right? And when he got to Powers Bluff, he said, they are all here. They are all here in this space. There are all the plants that he needed to create all the products that he was aware of. So someone was planting these medicinal plants and keep them
That's
on the site.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So they were pretty much aware of what they needed to. Even things like bug bites, they know exactly what to go and get and rub, and that's it. It's off. The itchiness and the swelling disappears.
So where I think we're definitely going then is that all this was intentional.
Yes, purposeful.
You can't sell your rope. Oh, because he makes. Oh, got it. You make good rope. I respect it. Welcome, Screw. Thanks for coming to hang out for a minute. We're kind of chatting, just hanging out, seeing where it goes, trying to incorporate you guys.
The store where I used to go into the grocery, and at the entrance of the grocery there was this tobacco shop, right? Or you can buy paper rollers, tobacco. It's not like in Americas. In a tobacco shop you have everything, except drugs.
Tobacconist.
Except drugs.
Right.
They're not legal. And the guy had some farmer come to him and said, look, I decided to experiment on this and it grew well, and I have all these bunches of tobacco leaves that I planted.
Okay.
And the guy said, yeah, Joe, bring it in and we'll make a price and we'll start selling organic tobacco leaves if people want to buy this tobacco. They took almost 3 months to get it. But as soon as they understood that that guy was selling tobacco leaves, he was immediately fined and prohibited to sell them. Because all tobacco in Portugal has to come from one single company that is called the Tabaqueira, right? So it doesn't matter if it is Lucky Strike, Marlboro, Camel, it doesn't matter. They make them all. They receive the tobacco and they make the cigarettes on that factory. So nobody is allowed to sell tobacco. So it's not illegal, but you are not allowed to produce and then sell it. You can produce it, but you can't sell it.
Yeah.
So,
That's terrible. I would love to know where some organic tobacco is, but yeah, that reminds me of Alabama. They did that with the same thing. They turned liquor essentially into a state business by saying that everything that not only everything that comes into the state, right, it's got to be tagged by the state board, right? So it's got to go through their warehouse basically, and then become their property. And then what they then did was they set up their own stores, and you couldn't sell liquor. You just couldn't. It had to go to the state store. It took quite a while before there could even be a thing known as a liquor store in Alabama, and it's a very recent development. Because the state, just turned it into their own business,
well,
which they could do with actual healthy stuff, but no.
The strong
pharmaceutical
do
companies
eat.
say don't do that.
The strong do eat, and the weak are meat. So,
Yeah, in some people's story arc, but fuck that slaughtered lamb shit. I'm not having it.
yeah, but you and everybody that thinks like you are an oddity in the society, unfortunately.
Yeah. Maybe. I'm not so convinced of that yet. I know.
Seat yourself
I know
in a
what
grocery
experience
shop
would tell me. I know, Ricardo.
and see what people buy.
I know.
Nobody reads the ingredients.
Lowest common denominator. I know.
Who have you seen reading the ingredients
But
before
it's
buying
also,
the product?
hasn't it been set up against them? I mean, like, for instance, dude, if I as a consumer, where I am, if I'm just an average Joe consumer, it's honestly work to find a way to eat all week without pretty heavily processed foods, right? Like, it's just kind of the way the system is oriented itself around us, right? So there's a lot of that to all aspects of this, I think.
Yeah, because it's much easier to create an industry that is directed to the impoverishment of the society.
Is that bad?
To the impoverishment of the society than to
Yes.
elevate the production and pay people better wages.
Yes, I mean we touch on this often, but we're in this boat because this was the design for sure. This was intentional. And that, I guess, is what a lot of people have trouble accepting. But the more we explore each area we dive off into, it's what we keep running against, and why I'm exploring this
I have to
idea.
leave you for 2 minutes. Just a
Go.
second.
I'll keep talking. Of these different avenues that keep intersecting, as we traverse through human history, as we've gotten more, as we call it, to the modern day, we can still see these exact same patterns. Amish. Nice. The Amish have natural tobacco. Yeah, I meant like, you know what I'm saying. Somebody like around here that I knew that grew it, and like, hey, and then I'd know. I mean, I trust Note when they say everything here is all natural, and I use them, and I like them a lot. Thank you very much. But it would still be cool, sort of like with our food, to have that access to that local, the way it's supposed to be, out of the ground. Yeah, isn't it kind of funny, all of this stuff we're talking about, that we now live in a world where when I say the word medicine, you think a little prescription bottle, and things rattling inside it, right? But how long ago was that not the world? And can we basically trace that narrative we're essentially living under, except now people are eating and taking and dying, and then entering the whole healthcare system as for a lifetime, because of this decision of what essentially seems to be one or a handful of individuals, and decisions that were made solely, maybe not solely, but what I mean is solely for profit. And if there was any other consideration, it was, as Rockefeller famously quoted, I want a nation of workers, not thinkers, or whatever. It was designed to create a mass society that was the opposite of strengthened. That's what I mean by, if it wasn't for profit, that was the other motive, But now today, if you dare say that the stuff in the bottle is not medicine, then people want to look at you like you're loony. And then you look at back at them like they're loony, because they don't know that fucking 80 years ago that was not reality. Medicine was what came from the earth, was what came from the creator, right? Medicine that worked with these systems within our body, just like that whole hemp farm feed byproduct, taking in, right? And they were handling it all day, the seeds, oils, right? So therefore, the human body was seen to in that regard. And I don't know, guys, when I sit and think about it too long, as we've done this episode, it just is so obvious, so patently obvious, that where we are now, that hurt, is where we're supposed to be by that plan,
I totally agree.
Yeah, I know you do. That's why I do. But we're trying to bail out of that plan and say, we got our own plan. With respect to agency and being a free human being, another topic common to us on our many platforms here.
Yeah, it's the miracle of cooperation and working for a common goal. Otherwise, you would never build the pyramids.
It's a national project, Joe. It's a national project. You must understand, it was a national project. Is that what we're doing? I think we probably are building the pyramids if you want to play it out over a couple of generations.
No, I mean anything that is beyond a certain level of complexity requires the cooperation of a group of people. Yeah. So, yeah, community.
Which at some point will be required. We're already doing a pretty fairly decent job. Thank you, everybody that's here with us hanging out. Across several platforms, but we've zoned in sort of on X and then our various on Discord, and then our various podcasting platforms, of course. building this community of folks that can sort of get together and, as we do sometimes like this, just plumb various avenues of human behavior based off things we encountered here recently. And I thank you for joining. I know so many of you, kind of came to this show through looking at big rocks and looking at history, and we still do so much of that, but we're also trying to just be honest and experiment and grow and see where all these things can go. And oftentimes a conversational show is excellent for that. And plus we get to see what you guys respond to, which is as good a spend of time as any in doing this. And we've hit an hour of conversation about how the structures that we currently labor under are set in place to basically destroy us in all possible ways, especially at a cellular and now a cellular level. I heard somebody say today that they actually changed the definition of vaccine in the dictionary recently. They had to. In other words, and so like to keep them from getting sued and shit. It's funny, I've got a 1979 dictionary here. I'm going to look it up and then go look it up on the computer and see how different they are later. But it's seriously, man, we're living right in the middle of the times that like all the movies are made about. Like we're watching knowledge and narratives and everything get attempting to be switched. Live in real time, sometimes one week to the next, but also many of these psyops and narratives people are starting to bust and see through, so you're experiencing all of that as well. But we're also watching them destroy our books to feed them into a non-physical process called AI that they can have sole control over. It's everywhere you look. All of these things that we once thought were fictitious are sort of occurring all around us. It's very interesting to watch people watch it, I guess would be one way to say it.
It's probably too long for us to read.
What?
The new definition of vaccine.
Oh. You want me to look it up in my dictionary here? Hang on, it's on the bottom of it's my mic stand.
While you search, I read you the new definition. I hope it hasn't changed much, but we'll see.
Okay, I'll look it up in the old one.
So this is as the latest updates visible in 2026 on the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
I've got Webster's Collegiate from 1979.
Okay. 1. A preparation that is administered as by injection to stimulate the body's immune response against a specific infectious agent or disease, such as A. An antigenic preparation of a typically inactivated or attenuated pathogen agent, such as a bacterium or virus, or one of its components or products such as a protein or toxin. B. A preparation of genetic materials such as a strand of synthesized messenger RNA, I think it's the new one, that is used by the cells of the body to produce an antigenic substance, such as a fragment of virus spike protein. Dear Lord, a preparation of genetic material.
Yep, isn't that just... Okay, so they did
Notes.
update that.
Notes. Vaccines may contain adjuvants, such as aluminium hydroxide, designed to enhance the strength and duration of the body's immune response. And now 2. This is all point 1. Point 2. A preparation of immunotherapy that is used to stimulate the body's immune response against non-infectious substances, agents, or diseases. The context of the change. This is the revised wording that Merriam-Webster introduced in May 2021. The previous long-standing definition read roughly, a preparation of killed microorganisms.
Yeah, here, I've got it, yeah.
This is 2021.
I know. Okay, go ahead.
The second one. The first one was 2026. You have Form 1, 2071?
No, I've got 1979. So
79.
you did 2026. Here's 1979. And oddly enough, it starts with, well, I guess it's vaccinate. Vaccinate, to inoculate with cowpox virus in order to produce immunity to smallpox. Number 2, to administer a vaccine by injection to perform or practice. Okay, but vaccine here, vaccine adjective, derived from cows infected with cowpox or inoculated with its virus.
Yeah, because you didn't have the
Hang
96
on.
vaccines that you
Hang
have
on.
today.
Or
on
of
that year.
referring to vaccine or vaccination. 1, a matter or a preparation containing the virus of cowpox in a form and used for vaccination. 2, a preparation of killed microorganisms, living attenuated organisms, or living fully virulent organisms that is administered to produce or artificially increase immunity to a particular disease.
That's exactly the one that I have in 2021.
So they did change it.
Yeah.
This would probably be its own show to like go through dictionary.
So it expands the definition to explicitly cover newer technologies, especially mRNA and genetic material vaccines, rather than limiting it to its traditional inactivated, attenuated whole pathogens, adding a second sense for experimental or non-infectious uses, ergo certain cancer or toxin-related preparations. Well, it all sounds so good.
Yes. Yeah. And as Jacqueline pointed out, I mean, no one's saying that there aren't aspects to modern medicine that saves lives. Mostly, though, I would say not so much anymore in what we call the pharmacological or the drugs. You know, I know there's still good ones out there. I mean, I live with, elderly parents. I mean, I understand, but I also know that, I mean, my mother recently she was on so many different pills, and many of them, some of them were supposedly to assist with some pain, right? And I'll just leave it there, some pain that was happening in some limbs. And so she decides she's just going to stop taking everything, just to give it a shot and see what happens, and the pain goes away, It's the funny world we're living in, where they're giving you all these things that, bro, they don't even know, like, what happens when you take this with that, and that, As the old people are often just like babes, they say the simplest things that are true. I heard them say, like, honestly, does the medicine know where to go? And their point in saying that little thing was, if you're dumping 7 different things into you, one to treat this, and this, and that, but they're still, at the end of the day, all mixed in and making something new. That's chemistry 101,
Yeah, they say they have different receptors in the body, but...
Well, either way, my point is, you start mixing. You don't know what you're brewing inside a human being when they're just, one doctor's giving you that pill, another doctor's giving you that pill and that pill, right? And so oftentimes it seems to me then you enter a state where the symptoms are then just seen to by other medicine, and that's how you get this market we're talking about, where the human being becomes just basically a source for monetization. Their suffering and their pain, which often time is caused by this system. It's just gross, and it just keeps going, Modern world is gross. That's what we've decided in today's episode, everybody. It's gross.
Yeah, and very
It's turned
hard to
upside
escape.
down.
Very hard to
It's
escape.
inverted. It is. It really, that's my point earlier, man. It's like, even myself, like when I'm on road trips, dude, or something, and I've got to just like just eat fast food, Even there, you're like, it's poison. No, just shut up, dude. It's fucking burger. It's good, because it's just the world you live in, right? And I guess a good note to try to end on is something like you started us on when you said that in itself is it's a miracle, right? that we can sort of find ourselves and realize, as Matt Scribe had pointed out, our whole lives had been really consuming in massive quantities poison, right?
Yes.
In massive quantities, dude. I grew up in the fucking 80s in suburbia, America. I've been consuming this poison. I mean, I was born and bred and raised on it, right? It's crazy. It's crazy that we are all still here in any form or capacity. But it's certainly made obvious that that's just another wing of this widespread system set in motion to not only destroy us, but monetize and maximize every part of that torturous process, and then have us thank them for the freedom to have been part of the experiment.
Yeah, and perhaps, well, we should be getting smarter, which unfortunately is not the truth. But we are becoming more and more, what is the term in anthropology? Uh, Glacial. Oh, I don't know how to say it in English.
I don't either.
We are becoming more and more fragile in
Okay.
terms of constitution and in terms of capacity
Oh, I
for
see.
strength.
Yeah, I see.
Right.
Yeah, we are. Uh-huh.
Because if in Portugal, for instance, you go back 2 generations and the strength was completely different. You go 4,
Sure.
it increases still, and so on. So
Well,
people
sure.
that lived
2
in
generations ago, people were fucking. You had to walk everywhere you went,
Yeah.
and you had to work for everything you wanted, like physically with your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's like people going to Africa and there's natives and they have a 6-pack and they never picked a single weight in their life to train, right?
Right.
And they are
This
all
is life.
like Tuscaloosa. He was all defined, mighty man, right?
Yeah.
Shoulders like pine trees and so on. He wasn't doing pilots in the
He
morning.
was not
and-
going to the gym and doing Pilates. No.
No, it was good food, healthy life, and lots of movement.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and that's what we don't have.
We have the exact opposite from good, simple, natural food, active days, right? We've been given the exact opposite. We've been given food that is manufactured, processed, and squeezed for every possible amount of actual nutrition, sold to us then, and then our health deteriorates, and all the money is then extracted from us at the end so that we can see to all those health problems. It's the exact opposite. And of course, we then have the technology that says you don't have to do anything anymore. In fact, you don't even have to go into work. We need just sit at home. It's your world is your screen. It's all handled. You can order everything from your home. We have that. It's the exact inverted opposite of what a native would have experienced just in general.
Yeah, most of them stopped playing PlayStation by the age of 11, 12.
We might can keep a video game around. That might be okay. I don't know. We're gonna have to figure out something about the solar flare. We're gonna have to. I don't know what we're gonna do about video games. That's why I'm working on my Mancala set, everybody.
You have this kids, I don't remember if it is Cambodia or if it is Indonesia, that they are too young to start to work, right? And so they are left in their wooden houses that are more
You
like
ever play Mancala? Keep going
No.
with your story.
stick
Okay.
houses. And so they gather around in groups, right? And they film these 3 kids to see what they do when the parents weren't home, right? And obviously they don't have McDonald's, right? And they don't have television. They don't even have bathrooms. But so they go into the woods and search for food that they know how to prep. One of the things they catch is actually tarantulas, which with sticks they pull the tarantulas up, but gigantic. And then they make a small fire, they roast them, and then they enjoy their time talking and eating it. So It's a completely different culture from,
That's such a
right?
different.
There is no perception of environment, no
It's
perception of what
making
is around you.
a whole nother creature.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
instead of
completely
screaming
different.
when see a cockroach, these people had a completely different mindset. Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a snack. That's
Yeah,
food for the snack.
a cockroach, I don't know, but they see a snake.
It'd be a
Shoot!
trap for the
Don't throw it!
iguana.
Don't,
You know,
don't shoot her out.
you could put the cockroach on a stick or tie a string around the cockroach's leg and use him to get the iguana. You can do it, man. We've got these big bugs that fly around here called June bugs. They're like big beetles. I mean, they're huge, man, and they fly around. It's almost like it's like bigger than a hummingbird in many ways, you know, when it's there flying around making all its noise. But you can grab them, and if you've got a thread, you know, like a sewing thread, and you pre-make you a little slip knot, you can slip his little back leg in there and slip it on. And if your string, you know, is nice and long, you can get you a June bug on a string, and he'll just sit there and bzzz above your head.
Okay.
I had a 90-year-old black man that grew up much like you just described, you know, in some shotgun house on a, you know, rented farm, right? And he told me that because that's what they did when he was little, for, you know, entertainment, was you could get a June bug, and he
I
would tie a
thought you were
thread
going
to
to
it.
say that put it on a string, put the string on a stick, and go to the river and catch something, or to the lake.
No, you had a little. It was like, you know, it was like a little pet, because they incessantly try to fly, and so when you get them on that light little tug there, the strings, you know, they can still fly with the thread, and they'll just buzz around, a little circle for you, just on and on and on and on.
Poor creature. What's going on? I can't understand.
But then you can just let him go. He's harmless.
I'm surprised the
harmless.
leg doesn't come off. But
No, not as long as you're gentle with the creature, you know.
of course, you're going to be gentle because you're going to tie it.
Well, you are. Trust me, it is hard to get a thread on and not hurt a bug's leg. It's quite an
It's an
affair.
art. It's an
I
art.
needed a pair of glasses myself. You know, those magnifying glasses that like magnify. I needed. It's hard. So I don't know how he did it on a farm, you know, 80 years ago. But by God, I believed him, so I tried it.
If you want bigger ones, you go into the what are they called? Star Troopers.
The big arachnid creatures. That's it. All right. I think we've done our due diligence. Unless we want to try, I don't think we want to try to be creative. I wanted to get an hour in to just say hi to everybody and thank them and let them know what I've been up to, why you haven't seen like new videos and stuff recently. It's all coming. There's a new season on its way, is kind of one way to say it. And just been making sure that we're all ready for that season and establishing quite a foundation, bro, as I sit here on episode 35 of this, and we're at 30 plus on 2 other platforms. Just continuing to set out this foundation and to welcome this community that is formed around us. And at the end of the day, guys, that's kind of why we're here tonight, and what we're doing is to hang out with y'all and talk about life. And if anybody needs to talk about anything in particular, we can do that. Otherwise, we'll just sit here and kind of talk about the things we find interesting and try, hopefully, in that process to shed a little light, a little truth, and a little something that resonates out there with the rest of you. Yeah, come find us at the Institute for Natural Philosophy Discord. That is what the IFNP below us stands for, if you weren't sure of that. Quite a little community we've got brewing, and we couldn't be prouder of it and every single member of it, new to old to in between. It's something. I don't really have a word for it, you know. I was going to try to put a label on it, but it's something I'm so very grateful for. And It's what I said, like I said to one of our newer members, Sarah Brayley, when she was like thanking everybody on Facebook for all their support, and she put me in there. As same thing I'd say here is, man, I'm just grateful to like be here and be watching it, watching all these people who are damn well motivated and damn well being led in their own right and in their own, research or area of passion. And to watch these people then sort of coagulate, and start supporting each other is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and if you, contrary to Jason, want to actually do something instead of just watching people doing something, come and join us.
I do stuff.
I'm kidding. It's just the way you said it. Watching these people work all around me. What is this?
Well, you know what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I try to, whatever.
I can't resist myself. I'm sorry.
There's not a lot of credit, taking is like, all that. Even though you're sitting here triggering me like, oh yeah, I can list all the things I do, but I'm not going to take the bait even then. Because it's not work, man, when it's what you love and when it's something you can be honored to be a part of, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's kind of what I was saying to Brayley, was I was just honored to like be a part of what I see happening, right? And to be able to watch it happen, let alone, maybe lend anything that would be useful to making sure that occurs. All right, man. You got anything weighing on your heart you need to say to people?
No, I just need to go and lay down my head and eat
Bye.
something, perhaps.
Get out of here. Do I have anything I want to sit around and say to the people? I don't know. I might stick around after you leave. I don't think so, though. Yeah, I think I said it all. I'm
gonna press end, and as soon as I do, damn it, I knew there was something.
No. I can always come back. UU crew in 2 weeks, says Sarah. Okay, cool. You got another UU crew session.
She thinks that we are just watching people working. We have nothing else to do. Go to crew sessions. Seriously.
There's a lot to do.
No, we love our crew sessions, and it's the only time we can be on the best channel on the
best show on the web.
Yeah, absolutely. So at least we have that. At least we have that.
Peace, brother. Thanks for tuning in to what was just a hangout session. Just again, part of the mini developments. We'll read, we'll do everything. We'll look at work, but we'll also just see where this goes. See if we can sit and talk and see who pops in to say hello and have our coffee and tea.
Just a live radio show with image.
Essentially. All right, brother, get thee to a headache-friendly position.
I will.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you,
See
Jason. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye. See you, dude. Now it's just me. What do we want to talk about now? I don't think anything, really. I think I'm going to say goodnight. I don't know why I stuck around till afterwards. Thanks, Sarah. Peace out, guys. See you to Ricardo. And... No, I'm good. I love you, everybody. I hope you had a beautiful day. I had a beautiful day, and I will see you tomorrow on some platform. Good night.